Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
Uh, I don't think we're going to be able to do this in under an hour, so break my Stanley Cup. I mean,
Yeah,
it might actually break the floor, but no. Welcome everyone. We are talking about the premiere of Survivor 46, and I gotta say, it was entertaining. I liked seeing a lot of the new cast, finally seeing them up and about, and it definitely gave us a lot of entertaining stuff. Um, a new twist to the Beware advantage, which
mhm.
I'm excited to talk about with you. And yeah, a brand new group of people, new editing styles, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do we start? From the beginning, I guess. What were your thoughts on Tevin pretty much narrating the beginning of the show?
I mean, clearly he's the narrator of the season. They basically set him up as that person. So I know for a fact, just honestly off of this episode, I'm like, he's got to make a finale. Like he is just
Or
like,
at least six.
yeah. But because that is that they gave him so much screen time, they basically anything revolving that he could have been a part of, he gets a confessional for it. We hear his thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
thought CBS didn't, or reality shows didn't like actors on their things.
Not
I
with
mean,
him.
don't
If
get me
they're
wrong, Tevin is amazing, so like maybe the
yeah.
personality made him the exception to the rule. But no,
Mhm.
Tevin was definitely my favorite out of the bunch.
Agreed.
But yeah, and it all started with that opening monologue. I'm like, we're in for a treat with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be the star of the season. I can already tell right here. Yeah, I'm excited, and he's a great player too. Like it's not like he is going to be a bad player but a fun narrator. Like you can tell he's going to also be great socially. And he was, one of the people helping out with the camp, so I bet you he's going to be actually pretty good in some of these challenges, especially later on.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah. So unfortunately, guys, if you don't look at our community feed, so we did do a
Yeah.
draft. Um, but the file did get corrupted, and with Joe and I being very, very busy, and it being something where even we kind of filmed it as soon as we could together, and we weren't able to schedule like a redoing it, a time to really redo it because of our schedules and us being so close to the actual premiere. So yeah, that's available on there. But
Yeah, we can do a quick little rundown of our teams
yes,
just so the people who didn't see the tech community tab know. I'll go
I'll
first.
let you go first. Yeah.
Yeah. My team is Jem, Hunter, Maria, Kenzie, Tiffany, Jess, Charlie, Tim, and Banu.
All right. So before I start mine, I got to let you guys know I got to choose second. So don't be giving me shit for because obviously you didn't hear one name that he said. So for mine, my winner pick is Mariah. Then it goes Tevin, Ben, Q, Liz, Randon, Venus, Soda, and
He
Jelensky.
was the last pick, so honestly, he technically scores about where we'd imagine. Like
It's like
he went even if you think about it that way.
what's funny is that it was kind of like a reverse Bruce.
Yeah.
It's like but good God, I know we're gonna get to him throughout this episode because this was just, I swear, the total drama syndrome carried over with this guy. Well, actually, I think a few contestants, but like it feels like total drama Survivor 2.0, at least from the first episode. What I liked about um, the opening of it too, it kind of harkens back to old Survivor where we get to see a little bit of their like self I'm used to saying self tapes. Their self tapes of like them, their audition tapes and everything. We're hearing that, and then they get on the beach, and then Jeff is like he's usually all about the celebration, and I know like you probably heard even in promos, he's like, I've taken the criticism that I've been too nice or I've been too soft. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, from the opening, he's like, yeah, most of you are not going to make it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, what's also interesting, there was no real match chats on the
there
season.
wasn't.
The
No,
only thing that we can really go off of is what Jeff was saying, and then maybe when they would cut away to castaways. Like I think that's the closest we can actually assess from that moment.
I and I've only seen it once. I saw it when it
Mhm.
as it was playing, but yeah. Um, but what are some of your thoughts on what Jeff was kind of like saying, especially since both of us are org alumni, online reality games. If this is your
Mhm.
first episode with us, um, yeah, we do a lot of brand steals, and recently we both did online reality games with Survivor Vanquish.
Mhm.
I did a mini, Joe did a full season. His is still technically get going, even
Yeah.
though
I just got voted.
mm,
This is like so raw because I
it's
just
so
got
yeah.
voted. I got voted out like an hour and a half ago. So
Oh yeah. And fun fact, I'll announce it real quick. I'm gonna be doing another org, Heroes versus Villains. And of course, the guy who is like heroic and sentimental and all that stuff gets the villain tribe.
yeah,
Uh, but I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, what I get for lying about my profession, pretending
yeah,
to be a weakling, not a weakling, but like, someone
uh,
that was like nervous, all the
uh-huh.
time. It's what I get for lying.
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
playing the Green Goblin.
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to
Um,
mention Matt from my season when I got into the jury chat. He wanted me to tell you hi.
Oh yeah, we will be talking because he's I thought I saw him at a that- we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we're getting off. There's just so much. This kind of consumed our lives. I feel for the last couple months.
It's still kind of consuming my life, man. Well, yours, but
Yeah,
now I'm like balancing my regular life and doing another one. And
yeah,
we're talking about Survivor 46. But like I feel like once he said that monologue, now that I have like insight of like doing an org,
hmm
it's like, yeah, statistically speaking, this is gonna be a lot of their people's first season, only season, and like you all go on thinking, oh, there's a possibility I can win this,
yeah,
but that's just straight up not the case because
yeah,
like it was such a flip because usually, everyone the marooning is so happy and
yeah.
joyous, but he was like, nah, fam,
Nah.
I'll let you know this game
Yeah,
gonna mess you up.
yeah. 17 of you are not going to have the story you thought you were going to have. Yeah, yeah, definitely interesting. I mean, I'm here for like sassy Jeff and Jeff kind of being a little more bitter. Like 41 through like 44 Jeff honestly is like worst period Jeff because he was just like he wanted to be super positive and nice and that and he wanted to tell all of these sad or motivating stories. Like that's really what those first four seasons had a lot of. But now it feels like he's at least listened and it's like, okay, maybe we need to go back to what people loved about Jeff and what people loved about Survivor.
Yeah, my favorite quote, and it's is like one of his sassiest one. It's like, and I think that's what you call a life lesson.
Yeah.
When Eric gets
Yep.
voted out in 16. But yeah, it sets like a tone of like danger
hmm
this season. But yeah, so and then we go straight into a challenge from there. What do you think of the current tribes and how they are right now?
Um, I'd say Nami seems pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
Hunter especially, like I mean, I don't know if I would say Jonathan levels of challenge strength, but he definitely seemed like he could run circles around a lot of the people.
Yeah, yeah. There's that. It does feel like I feel like that team probably going to be safe for a while. There's
hmm
probably going to be a merge, or not a merge,
A swap.
a tribe swap at some point, mostly
hmm
because of like that kind of stuff. But nah, I feel like this one is going to be pretty solid. I'm pretty sure they're not going to lose anyone up to that point. I think they got a nice array of people. Soda. was a bit of a surprise. Like,
Hmm.
because we didn't know how to read her based off of her thing, but like she was someone we're like, I'm liking what she's saying, and I think she's a very smart player too.
Hmm.
It also has Tevin, and Tevin is a lot of fun. Obviously, I'm rooting for him.
Hmm.
May have not been my winner pick, but mostly because I don't think he does win this game. I feel like he will be taken out, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
yeah, um, we got Liz Wilcox. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Who I think
Um,
is just gonna be good on a lot of the puzzles. I feel like that's where Liz is gonna really shine. So they got a
yeah,
good puzzle
I wasn't
person.
I wasn't really getting a read on her. She did not get a good at it. We'll get to that when we
No.
get to the confessional count. And then Venus, Miss Regina George, who goes on, she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm the prince. Yep, you already labeled me the princess. Okay, we're gonna just roll from that.
Yeah.
And then there's one more. Is it
Randon.
Tim? Brandon.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't have the tribe things on here. I'm just
Yeah.
going based off of our one list and like memory.
Yeah. I
But
got the
yeah.
confessional, which has the tribe colors for each of them. So
All right, so
yeah.
you should be the one introducing, so I don't look like a dummy.
Yeah, it's all
Um,
good. Yeah, I mean Randon's probably gonna be pretty good in a lot of these challenges. Like, I don't know how well he'd be at like a puzzle, but I mean, I feel like the physical side of it, he's gonna be pretty good.
yeah,
Like I feel like they got three really strong guys. And honestly, though, I will say this is probably the strongest cast I've seen in a bit. I feel like the modern era, there's like each tribe has like one really strong player, and then like then everyone is either good at maybe at just puzzles or something or social. But I feel like there's a lot more physicality on the season than like across the board.
that's a pretty fair statement. Yeah, and maybe that was another complaint, or I wouldn't say complaint. It's tough. I know casting is such a hard job for these, because it's like you're getting so many people and you're trying to fill like 9 spots for like, two different genders, and then also like trying to keep up to what you're saying about making sure that half the people that you cast are a person of color. So like
Mhm.
there's a lot of parameters you're trying to meet, trying to do that. And so, doing that and making sure that all the teams are well balanced and things like that, it's tricky. And obviously some people are going to be more adept than others.
Mhm.
Like Jonathor would have had to been a tribe on himself for it to be even. And even then, that
Yeah.
tribe lost a few times. So it's like, um, it's one of the things where, yeah, I do think it's pretty even, especially now that Jelensky is gone. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
but yeah,
John, they lost one challenge, and they let Jonathan be the caller of
yeah,
something, which was not, I think, the right choice. They basically were just like, you're the loudest voice, so we'll put you there. But he didn't know how to actually be a caller. So
yeah, there's more than just having a loud voice. It's multitasking, being very articulate with your words, guiding people.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, but no, I really like this tribe. There's a lot of like obviously Tevin's on there. I think we're gonna
Mhm.
get a lot of entertainment value out of this, and I think we're gonna get a lot of strong players as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, and then the purple tribe, I forget what their name was, to be honest. I know the other tribe is Siga, but I'm like totally blanking on what the purple tribe name was. Do you
Was it
remember?
Nanu?
Not Nanu? Yanu? Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, it's Yanu.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one obviously being the losing tribe, we got the survivor legend himself, Jelensky, and we might be riffing on him a lot. If you're watching this, man, I'm sorry, but you did not get a great edit for your thing,
No.
but you also quit during two different things,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
unfortunate for you.
Yeah, if you have you listened to his exit interview at all? It's
No,
crazy. He thought he got taken out because he was a strategic force. Yeah, and he claimed that Q was the one to quit the sweat challenge.
Tevin does clearly not say that. Also, like just based on how much he folded during
Yeah.
the the bluff game over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, he also said that when they got back that apparently this cast almost named the merge tribe the Jelensky tribe. This is all real stuff he was saying.
I know that they made Coach Wade do a live stream test. I know they don't do the live reunions anymore, but
Listen,
I kind of want to follow up with this man under a lie detector.
yeah.
Or
I mean, I think he wholeheartedly believes it. I really
that's
do.
the scary part.
Yeah. Uh
Um, but no, I mean, he was a great first boot. Like he was definitely a character. He made it entertaining. I think he was a few seasons too late. To be honest, I feel like he should have been on 41 or 42.
mhm.
That's when you're allowed to break the hourglass.
Yeah, exactly. If he did that then they would have won the challenge and the other two would have had to go to tribal.
Exactly. But I will say that the Sweat and Savvy this time around that
Uh-huh.
the or not that the purple and the green tribe had to do seemed unrealistically hard.
Yeah,
Like
it seemed like they wanted them to lose. I mean, especially that sweat. I mean, I wonder
no, yeah,
there had to be rules to not being able to like use your clothes or your buffs to cover up those holes because
because that would have been my thought. Like,
mhm,
okay, if I'm using like that as kind of like a liner around it, it would mitigate some of the water coming out.
yeah.
But like, it's tough because like, well, they didn't see it through, so we don't really know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm sure it wasn't like a suicide mission that they're going on. And I will say the sweat thing, it's like if they put it together faster, that or the savvy thing, if they put it together faster, that oh, there's too many letters. It's like, all right, or oh, there's too many numbers. All right, what other words are we finding here?
Mhm.
That could have helped, but also like they were under time, and so like when you're on that timer, you have to think faster, and then sometimes you don't. I mean, they had an idea to look under the thing. They were close, but like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that that
they
that was
had a
another
better
tough
thing.
one because, like, sure that you get the letters, but then scrambling it into the right thing is definitely like you have to definitely be smart to be able to do that. It's it was definitely the easier of the two was the savvy. But
Yeah,
still, I think it's probably maybe the toughest savvy they've had. Maybe you could say the previous one where it was the sweat and savvy, that savvy might have been as difficult, but I would still probably say I think this one was tougher.
I agree. I agree. But yeah. And then finally, let us go over to the Green Tribe.
Hmm.
Um, and over there, I get a cool vibe. Like obviously, my winter pick's on there. I
Hmm.
have how many people from there do I have? Only like really two. Mariah and Ben.
Yeah, I have
Um,
four, and I my winner pick is also on that tribe. So,
yeah. So we have a lot of stock. Well, you have more stock, but both of us definitely have stock on this tribe. It's like, hey,
mhm.
Mariah, Jem. Uh, Apparently also because I based part of my winner pick on who was on the Bryson Wins Presents. Turns out Jelensky was there.
Oh, really? Well, good for
Evidently.
Zelensky. Yeah.
So that might have really messed much in. Though I like Mariah's like, introduction and everything. I think she has a good
Mhm.
story to her. Um, but who's to say? But who's
Yeah.
to say really?
Yeah, I don't know if I was getting necessarily a winner from her, but I could see her making it like mid-merge. Like I see her
Yeah.
having good maybe pre-merge game and then, be just not being able to get back in socially at the merge.
I will say that she definitely when you do a thing where it's like, oh, about like having social anxiety. When you have that personal story like that, it's like, I don't know, like obviously it's giving underdog vibes. So we definitely
Hmm.
have to keep an eye. Um, I feel like obviously Ben, he's character through and through.
Hmm.
Um, I think Andrew Garfield. Oh wait, I mean, my bad. That was supposed to be Charlie. Uh, I think he's a pretty cool dude. I feel like he is a Ryan side grade, except he has a law degree. Um, and will probably make more money. I'm playing. But he, like it feels like he's someone that can walk both worlds. Like he is a Swiftie, and like something. It's something where it lowers some people's guard. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a male that listens to Taylor Swift, not like a fuckboy way, but like you're genuinely like enjoy Taylor Swift. I feel like, it's an avenue.
Hmm.
Um, to like be friends with certain people. But yeah. I think we might have sold him a little short when we were talking about him pre-season. Granted, first episode,
Yeah.
but I've been liking what I've been seeing with Charlie.
Yeah, I agree. He's in a pretty good spot. I do worry that if he sides with the girls, that the girl power will maybe be too strong if they go multiple times. Um, I wonder,
Potentially.
like who I'm really afraid of is Tim. I mean, the edit especially is like letting him be opposed to the girls, and the girls are bringing in Charlie, which to me is setting up like Tim's could be potentially someone getting taken out if they do go to tribal first. Um, and then at that point, I mean, it's really going to be, do the girls want to stick with Ben, or I mean, stick with Charlie because he worked with them, or go with Ben because maybe they like his vibe more. Like it could be dangerous for him, I think, to do it. Um, if they have to go multiple times.
No, no, I feel, and it's a conversation that comes up like Women's Alliance, and then bringing in a dude.
Hmm.
I don't know, like it is a thing where when it comes to gender and stuff like that, it's like you know where we go from for a certain point. I feel like, and this is something we've seen before with certain alliances, um, where okay, they have like a common thing that brings them together early on,
Hmm.
but sometimes it falls apart because it's like, oh wait, these people don't vibe or their games kind of conflict with each other. So like, oh, you kind of like pivot from it a little bit because it's like, oh, I really liked working with this people, but now I'm starting to think maybe it's better for my game if I venture off. And I feel like sometimes if you're able to get those one or two votes in, if you do have to go, it is better that than you know, nothing.
Yeah.
Um, but that does mean that yeah, it does. Tim didn't get a good enough edit for that one. I'd say that tribe, it does look, there's a lot of cool people on there. I really don't
Hmm.
want too many of them to go. There is a lot of likable people on here.
Yeah.
I know we kind of like talked a lot about Jelensky on the Purple Tribe, but I like
Mhm.
Q. I like his work ethic. I like his power.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I
he's a
I
cool
liked him
pro.
a lot better than I thought I would, to be honest. Like I thought he was just gonna be kind of like the muscle head that they
Yeah.
usually cast to, maybe gets like a confession or two here or there, but is just there for challenges. But I felt like there's a lot more game to him as well.
Yeah, hold on, I need to do some math. Did I choose everyone from? I think I chose everyone from the Orange Tribe.
I got Hunter.
So who I have?
Yeah, yeah, you have everyone else but Hunter.
Okay, so I'm very invested because I'm like I said, uh,
Yeah.
but this is just first day stuff. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of cool people on the Purple Tribe. Obviously, Q being one of them. We got uh the Velma of the tribe, the redhead wearing purple. We got Kenzie. I think she's gonna be a fun character. We got
Yeah.
Tiffany, I think was probably the standout from that tribe. And I mean, partially due to the fact that she got a, idol. We got to
Yeah.
talk about this. A beware advantage where it activates once you lose a challenge.
Yeah, that was interesting. I wonder what happens if you find the Beware advantage and then never lose a challenge or go to or there's a swap and then what happens then?
It's tricky to really think about. I feel like it's one of those things where I'm also thinking, does it make someone want to throw a challenge just to get it? But not in the sense of like, obviously, you're not at risk of losing your vote until I think we have to look at the text because, like, if your tribe or, but then again, if
Uh,
you move, because the box is there and then the note is placed right back in that same spot after you
yeah,
lose the challenge, the immunity challenge.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those things where we got to do more research on it, and maybe that scenario does come up. But it is kind of funny how we see Bonnie really searching for this idol, really going
Hmm.
for it, and then it was like, yeah, I'm gonna find this thing. That's Tiffany. And she's just searching around too, and then she finds it. She gets it within the same episode. Um, and I feel like definitely, it's when you're doing there is risk to it, obviously, because like, oh, if you lose the immunity, you're clearly going to tribal council, so you have to kind of think, oh, I'm gonna have to, while I'm strategizing, find this thing so I have a vote tonight.
Hmm.
Um, so there was definitely some high stakes for Tiffany. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like Tiffany is going to be the power player of the season. Like, I don't necessarily know if she's going to win, but I feel like she's going to be, probably in it for a long time. She's probably going to make some big moves later in the season. I feel maybe even final boss level kind of player that I could see from Tiffany.
I definitely can see it. She is a
Hmm.
strong contender. Yeah, she's definitely one of my favorites to come out of this episode.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then good gosh, Jess, like it felt like the Lulu. I don't want to say the Lulu losers again, but like we had two clear candidates of like who do we get? It's
Hmm.
like if Jelensky wasn't so horrendously bad, like Jess was like
Yeah.
just like a few rungs under that ladder,
Yeah.
and we're talking about a pretty long like ladder with a lot of rungs, but it felt like it was close. Like I'm like, Jess, you're on thin ice. Just
Yeah.
please stop saying that you can't form sentences.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
I
gonna
mean,
get voted out.
she did go 3 days without sleeping. Like, I know I've been hearing from some other survivors who have also said like they'll have a patch where they just don't sleep and they can't, like, they have trouble forming words like in general. So there is some merit to that. But I think what Jess was super afraid of early on, like day one issues, was she didn't want to come off as a strategic player. So was afraid to have any strategic talk with anyone, which isolated her because the rest of the tribe were okay with talking some strategy, whereas she was the
Yeah,
one person who wasn't.
and I feel like that's always a tricky thing when you go into these, because it's like you don't want to seem like you're overplaying, but at the same time, it's a case by case thing. If
Hmm.
the tribe mentality is like, oh, let's shock strat, then you kind of have to match that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I do think she is pretty hosed if she has to go again.
Hmm.
Because it's like, well, that four is pretty tight. I don't see Jess really getting into it unless
Yeah.
something very drastic happens to someone else. And I'm not saying like a medevac or anything like that, but like unless someone royally screws up or they go off for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to imagine them taking out anyone else. Maybe I mean, maybe a Banu, like Banu wasn't part of the main core, so there's like maybe a world, but even then, it's like
I
there's
feel
got to
like you
be.
no, I feel like Banu is like a huge asset to the team, and even
Oh,
like
well, one
if
hundred
there's like
percent.
a tribe swap or anything, I feel like Banu is definitely someone that is able to get allies on their side.
Yeah,
Um, because the dude is very charismatic, very sociable. And then also the dude is fit, and I'm
yeah,
pretty sure he's smart too. So like I'm
yeah,
pretty sure he's gonna be like kind of total. I know he was like the last person you chose, but then again it was
yeah,
like him or Jelensky. But like I think after seeing him in it, it's like I think he is good at like balancing his threat equity.
yeah.
Um,
He did have. He's tied for the most confessionals out of this premiere, so they definitely invested in Banu. Which, to be
they
fair,
did.
I was actually kind of surprised. Like, I knew he had a good edits, like shown a lot, but I'm actually surprised that he was tied for most.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who is a little too early to get into
Yeah, yeah.
confessional
We won't
account.
go over all of them, but he's tied with Tiffany.
Yeah. Also, we gotta say um with the collapse of the shelter,
Yeah.
that was nuts.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where it's like granted, it's one of those things some people don't know how to make fire when they go out there. I do wonder how many people Google like how to make a shelter and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah. I know that I would be pretty bad at making a shelter. I would have to look up all that stuff because that is definitely it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of different facets to be able to like make a good one. Um, we've seen a lot of terrible shelters, and I feel like if I went out there without looking up anything, yeah, we would probably get probably one of the worst shelters Survivor has ever seen. So, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely need to look up basic, Survivor shelter making. Honestly,
Yeah,
Boston Rob and Wendell need to make a master class about how to make the best Survivor shelter.
that'd be dope. I would love to see that wasn't mentioned in his book. I have read Bob's book.
Hmm.
Um, did not mention how to make a shelter. But yeah. What else? Oh yeah,
We
when we get
can.
in,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, 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 you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was just going to talk about the journey. Um,
Yes. Well, I mean, I was going there too.
okay.
The journey. So everyone had like their different method of going. One rolled the dice, and that's how Tevin decided to go. And then the green peeps,
They
they
did.
played rock, paper, scissors, and that's how Maria ended up on that one. And perfect person to go there because of the mom guilt trip. And
Yeah.
then Joe Lenski was super adamant
Yeah. He just
of
raised his hands.
refused for anyone else to go. He's like, no, I have to go. I have to go. And them all getting together on that beach. And like at first I was confused on the rules, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like um
Yeah.
so it's like a game of BS and whatnot.
Yeah, there's a lot
And
of board games with this kind of
yeah,
idea as well.
yeah. So it's something that's familiar, but like, it's something that's very important too, because it's like this early on to lose your vote is bad.
Yeah.
And then like the potential of like gaining a vote. And also there's an extra layer to this. This isn't just playing cards or like going off somewhere and then turning a steering wheel.
Yeah.
This is like, all right, you're showing people right then and there how good of a liar you are.
Yeah.
So like Zelensky, I do understand why he kind of revealed. Let me explain.
Mhm.
Because you let two people know, hey, this guy is pretty convincing as a liar. He wasn't. But maybe in his head, he's like, I can't say that I'm a great liar or anything,
Mhm.
or I'm not going to be able to work with them, or they can use that against me. I think that this is interesting because it's like, okay. how do people actually play it? Someone might
Yeah.
make a Jelensky move. We keep referencing this dude. So maybe he
Yeah.
is a legend.
Yeah. He's definitely the legend of this episode.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I will say so. Yeah, I think there is validity in folding if you get the skull. I think there
Yeah.
is a reason to it, but the problem is that then he goes back and tells them his tribe that he folded and gave the other tribes extra votes. Um,
Yeah.
you need to go back and say, they found out about me. They saw right through me. Because at least then it's like, well, you tried, you failed, but you tried. Um,
The way he phrased this dude's a salesman.
yeah,
And like he couldn't like sell them. It's like when you're a salesman, you know how to use your words on how to
mhm,
build a picture about what you're selling. And I'm like, it was weird that the dude isn't, granted, you don't have to lie to be a salesman, but you know how to paint a picture.
mhm,
And he paints the picture of like, oh yeah, I helped out the other tribes. And like, that's nice and all, but no, these are people that are not on your tribe, dude.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
need to, they'll understand it's part of the game.
Yeah,
But good God.
exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
I wanna ask you also, so if you were in the situation where you were out there on this journey, which one of the 3 cards would you like to have? Like, what do you think is, like, the best card to have if you are in this situation?
the best card to have is the sheet of paper.
Yeah,
Why? A, you tell the truth. There is no
mhm,
stake in there for you. All you have to do is be like, dude, I have the car. Um, and then because if you have to choose, if you choose wrong, you feel like an idiot.
yeah,
And then if you have the skull, you have to make that little dilemma. Do I fold so that they don't know how good of a liar I am? Try and lie. And if I get away with it, they might use that against me. I feel like
mhm,
getting the skull is the worst.
yeah, by far.
Having to choose is a 50-50 shot of hurting yourself and someone else. The parchment is the best one to get because you're just telling the truth.
Yeah, even if they pick wrong, like, I mean, there's no real sure you lose your votes, but there's no real hurt that happens between the other tribes. Like it's just like, hey, I was trying to help you out here.
Yeah. I loved how Tevin went about it. It's like, I'm gonna be mad if you choose him over me because I don't want you to lose your vote. I will lose. Also, like the two in the universe where Maria, my bad. Is it Maria?
Maria, yeah.
One of them has to get uh Maria was so it, I'm glad she had the sense to pull the mom card. And I'm
Mhm,
glad that because like obviously in the confessional, you know, they also probably asked like, "Oh, can you do a thing like you were really debating about it?" But like it's one of the things where it's like if she went Zelensky, granted the dude his lies are terrible. It's like
yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest, I have the approach me. It's like
Yeah,
that is the shitty.
he like scores a 1 on a lot of 1 out of 10 in a lot of survivor facets, I feel.
He is my favorite first boot. I feel like in the sense of like he is the most deserving. He was
He
entertaining
was
up until he was eliminated.
he was by far the worst player on the season, so we know that at least number 18 out of the season is the correct placement for him. He is the
Yes,
Zane Knight of modern Survivor.
I think he's worse than Zayn. Zayn
Ugh,
actually tried to. Zayn tried at things,
yeah.
and like him not. Whereas Jelensky was just like, even before the travel was like, or like even before like he was in danger, was giving up on stuff
Yeah.
and was just so. Not saying that he didn't try and make bonds and whatever. It just was not like. Did you hear that Jeff told the dudes like, "You're gonna have a hard time winning this game"?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes Jeff, well, he's been wrong a few times. Like Spencer was like famously someone where he's like, oh, he has zero chance of winning this game.
hmm
He didn't, but at the same time, he made a pretty deep run both time he has
He was
played.
very close to winning.
Yes. If it was a final three and if he didn't lose at that one point, it's very possible that Spencer wins that season.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, uh, so yeah, that happens. So yeah, Maria, damn it.
I know it's this has been the dilemma for me. I feel every time I see any either one of these two's names.
Especially because Mariah is more on my brain because she's my winner pick.
Yeah.
Uh, but Maria has an extra vote. Tevin has an extra vote. Um, yeah, and those are pretty powerful things to have this early on in the game, and then also just with small tribes and whatnot.
hmm
I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. Um, okay. Let's talk about the challenge. I feel this was a interesting challenge, you know. They brought in a new kind of thing people had to carry in a gecko.
a 500-pound gecko.
Yeah.
I want to say I want one.
I want to
I
just
don't know. Well,
cuddle
I
up
actually
with
have a
this.
pretty decent sized living room, so like just put it there.
Yeah.
I mean, my might piss off my roommates, but we'd also be the apartment that has a giant ass gecko in our.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was fun. It's also I felt dangerous a little bit. Like I was concerned for some of the contestants. Like that's a heavy thing if this falls on someone. Granted, the boulder was also pretty heavy and whatnot, but I think the
hmm
boulder is at least something you can roll and kind of has more control with that.
Yeah.
Um, I give props to those people. But yeah, I feel like this one that definitely, if you were on the weaker side when it came to that, it was going to take you forever to get there, and it did take Purple Tribe a little bit too long to get there because it is a heavy, heavy thing, and like they barely had any time to catch up.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely kind of a blowout. And then I don't know why on earth they put Jelinski on the puzzle.
He volunteered, dude. He was
It
like,
was
"No,
so
I'll do it."
dumb. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I literally saw him start and I was like, "No, anyone else should be doing this."
The meme just comes up. Are you sure about that?
Yeah. And then oh yeah, he was just like looking at the puzzle piece and being like, "Here you go, Jazz, or here are some puzzle pieces right here." Like he did not even know how to do it at all.
No.
Uh it was another clown session for him. Less so than the other two, but like that challenge performance for a lot of other players would get them voted out. And then he had that on top of two terrible other performances. Yeah.
Everything else,
Yeah.
I will say, it was a good first challenge, big giant obstacle course, and I know I think it was actually a video I watched where like they were talking about the things they hate about Survivor, and it was like the repeat of certain challenges. And so
Mhm,
this one was just different enough where it was like, hey, yeah, you have to get this giant gecko and do this and like navigate stuff with that. It was like unique and a little different than what we have typically seen. So
mhm.
I think that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was fun. I was excited to watch it. Yeah. And didn't the Orange Tribe win that one first place?
I believe so. Yes, they were way ahead.
I will say there was a bit of a there was a bit of a spoiler in a things to come thing where it was like Banu was saying in like a commercial break where it was like, no, we're gonna get that idol and this, that. I'm like, only reason he's gonna say that is because he's in danger. And I think the Green Tribe was holding one of the idol or like one of the tribal idols. I think
Mhm.
like M Maria was holding it and whatnot in like one of the commercials. I'm like, well, spoiler. Um,
Yeah, I
you
saw
guys
some
gotta
people.
be more careful.
Yeah, I saw some
Yeah,
people talking about some potential like they basically like all these people are safe because there's going to be like there's a screenshot of a challenge that they're also going to be in, but that's not next week's. So all of these people are safe. I didn't really look too much. So I don't really know the specifics. I also know that there's a screenshot of Banu with a little more of a beard, so I know that he's at least going to be around probably at least a couple more episodes at the very least.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, and then we get back, the Beware thing. I will say Tiffany was obviously not worried about telling. I think because he was like, because she was like worried that Q and Jelensky were like a duo, even though Q just cannot stand Jelensky for anything.
Mhm.
So it's like, how could you? It's like so like obviously filled in on Q, but like it was like no, it's like I think that Kenzie and Tiff are definitely going to be a big power duo. Or was it Q or was it Banu
For what?
for sharing the fact that they have the idol?
Um, I don't know.
It
I
was
can't
either
remember.
that or the clue. Uh,
Mhm. I know Tiffany told Kenzie and Q. I think it was Kenzie and Q about it. About having a beware.
uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah. I will say that I don't know if this was just editing, but the fact that the vote was originally on Jess and then Q was like, all right, no, 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 we got him. Like, I was kind of like, why was Jelen? I know you guys have to, like, why was Jelensky just like straight up just not the choice?
Yeah.
Like, Jess is, I get it, Jess is not doing too hot, but Jelensky is
Yeah. Well,
actively choosing to not do well.
I mean, there's benefits to having someone who's not very great in your alliance, because if you get to the merge, a lot of times there is like you got to have a sacrificial lamb sometimes to get in with some of the other tribes, and Zelensky would be a good sacrificial lamb. He would probably do it himself. You don't have to really do much to probably have taken like had him get taken out around the merge. So
Yeah,
there is some level of that. But I mean, still, he is the worst player, so I'm glad that he went home.
yeah. And I mean, there's more merit as well to just like keep Jess around because at what is it? Because it's like remember, they don't have Flint. They don't get fire. So like that's longer that and you see in the next time on Survivor, Banu is like, trying to get fire very, very fast, like, running the sticks. That's a lot harder, obviously without Flint or anything like that.
Mhm.
So it's something that puts them at a big disadvantage. Um, so it's important to win challenges. Because
Yeah,
especially out here, because it's like, hey, it's actually like quality, not even quality of life. It's like you're missing a very important tool for survival if you don't have it.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
feel like Q especially is going to have to start putting in some monster performances in some of these challenges. I mean, they got some people who are decent, but I feel like they're really slacking right now in a lot of the physical senses. And it feels like he needs to be the one kind of trying to be the Jonathan, whereas I feel like he's trying to be a little more like he's doing stuff like really doing a lot, but he's not trying to be the leader or the carrying his team. It feels like he kind of wants it to be more of a group effort.
yeah. Um, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's tough because like I can see it go either direction with Q. I'd
Mhm.
like to think that he has the more positive one because I like Q. I think he's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Uh, but they come to tribal and both I think Jelensky and Jess were just trying to see who could appear the worst. Or at least that's what we're getting. And
Yeah.
Jeff was even calling out he was straight up this is where we saw a bit of sassy Jeff, where he was like calling out Jelensky. He's like, hang on, I hear one thing, but I'm also hearing you say another. And then Jelensky's like, yeah, I just quit.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that. It
Yeah.
was
Also, we totally haven't mentioned the funniest thing that has ever come out of Survivor. Several means seven.
the Andy Griffith thing.
And the Andy Griffith thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh
Um, I love how with this extra screen time, they are, you know, put a more like fun twist on things. And it's like, oh, the Andy Griffith alliance that they have with Tevin Hunter.
mhm.
Or was it that was
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, you were right.
Thank you. I'm tired. I've been up since 3 a.m. It is
Yeah.
9, guys.
Yeah.
And yeah. But so yeah, I'm feeling a little bit like Jess. Hot damn, it's correct. Um, but yeah. So like that was like a little fun thing, and I feel like especially because Boys Day was such a hit, and
Uh
that one moment is like just got so much love on the internet. It's like do more shit like because audience seem to
yeah.
enjoy when we're like kind of not taking ourselves too seriously and just like playing into it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm here for the Andy Griffith Alliance. If those two want to make it, very far in the game, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's our like our favorite. Well, Tevin is my favorite, but I
Yeah.
don't know if Hunter is yours.
I like him. That it's interesting that they're actually both our number two picks in the draft.
Yeah, they are. Well, because I'm like because I don't I know Tev is gonna get targeted. It's partially because of how, and I mentioned this when we were doing our draft, so I can tell you guys, it's because he had the Jam Jam spot in this trailer, which
Hmm.
is like, oh, they're not going to give another winner that spot again because Jam Jam was like, poop in the ocean, and Tevin is freaking out because he got his buff. It's like clearly, the two mirrored each other, but I think obviously they know that if they share the same beat and they're winners,
Hmm.
that's the
Yeah,
new math theory, basically.
yeah. Um, Another interesting thing that they didn't have in the show, but in the trailer was yeah, Tevin getting the buff. I guess that's just
Yeah.
something they did this season was they gave everyone buffs in their first confessional. Which interesting.
Hmm. I don't know, like it is an intro. Yeah. Um, there's a lot of production things. Like I'm sure, and it's changed over the years, obviously, and sometimes they do different things. Like they like to set their teams now, so that way they can color coordinate their outfits and whatnot.
Mhm.
Which I don't know. How do you feel about that? I'm someone where I'm like, I feel like it takes a little individuality away, but
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it.
what if I
I
get a
mean,
color that doesn't complement my eyes?
yeah, yeah,
What
exactly.
if I don't get blue or green, Joe?
Yeah, I would hate if I was on the bubblegum tribe and we actually had to be in colors because I would not want to be wearing pink for the entire
Honestly,
entirety of that.
so I did a Barbie YouTube short for Darman,
Mhm.
uh, and I was wearing like a pink button up and then a pink shirt underneath. I'm like, damn, actually looks good on me. Hell yeah. I might have to get a pink t-shirt now to pair that together because damn. Uh, little little side thing right there.
Yeah, were you Alan?
Here's the thing. I do have an Allen costume,
Uh,
but they didn't tell me because I was a last minute addition covering for someone.
Mhm.
They did not because I didn't get the scripts for anything. And I will say, guys, I pitched a Survivor YouTube short for Dar, not to Dar himself, but the people in charge of that. And we actually filmed one. So
Ooh.
I'm super excited for that to come out because y'all know, obviously, huge Survivor fan. And if I
Mhm.
brought that to existence in the um my life is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I'm excited for you guys to see that one, but I know we're going a little off topic, but not really because it's
Mhm.
Survivor related.
It's still
Um,
Survivor.
yeah. Um, that's also why I'm tired. But
Yeah.
yeah. To get back
Okay.
onto it, we were
Yeah.
talking
So
about
yeah, it's a tribal council, very clear. It's either Jelensky or Jess, and it could have kind of gone either way. Like I think by edits, I was on the it's got to be Jelensky because they've dunked on him so freaking hard, and he made so many mistakes that it was like if he was in this even just another episode or two, they probably wouldn't have done this much to like make him look bad.
like the thing is, it's like it was a step further than Jatia.
Yeah,
Like if they kept him around, I would be like, that was a worse move than keeping Jatia around.
yeah,
I'm like, no, you
yeah,
can't let this person stay.
yeah. It is.
I'm sure he's
It,
a fun bro IRL, but like this was not his best outing.
yeah.
This
He did everything that he could wrong. Like, that is how that is what he did. He had the worst and I bet you there's more things. I bet you there had to be more things that he was making mistakes, messing up in conversations.
we
Um,
wanted to make it a 2 hour premiere just so
yeah, the Jelensky edits, a whole 2-hour episode
it's a
of just
Lindsay cut. It's just the full 72 hours he was there.
oh boy.
All his
But
coverage.
But yeah, I mean, it's a unanimous vote. Obviously, no one else has received a vote because he couldn't vote at this tribal council. Um, and apparently, he was also extremely shocked. He thought for sure it had to be Jess. That is Jelinski in a nutshell.
You know, sometimes I think I'm delusional with certain stuff,
Yeah.
and then I see that.
Yeah. I think he made us all feel a little bit better about ourselves. I honestly this is the like apply for survivor right here. You can't be worse than Jelinski.
I feel like you have to really try. Like, I know if he watches this, I'm sorry, but like Reddit did not do well. You did not give them the best material to work with when it comes to that. But it's like I will I challenge someone. If you want to throw away $1 million to be the to top that, by all means.
Yeah.
But like I don't know how much lower you go without doing something that's A, a quit, or B, a danger to everyone around you. I don't know what worse you can do. I mean, they barely had food anyway, so like thing is it's like none of what he did was with like malintentions either.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's like I think that makes it worse because like there's at least a purpose when you're pouring out the rice
Yeah.
to like mess with your tribe.
Yeah.
But
No. Yeah. Um well, at least we had some fun. At least there was some fun to be had
we did.
in laughing at a player who just can't get anything right, and it just feels like he's the Charlie Brown of first boots.
No, Charlie Brown has some endearing qualities.
Yeah.
He's the real life Ezekiel from Total Drama.
Uh,
He's just
yeah.
like I don't. I'm sorry, Jelensky, if you're watching this, or if we do an org together, and you know the shit.
That would be pretty funny. Um,
We live in that world now, Joe. We live in that
yeah,
world.
yeah. Um, okay, well, let's dive into confessionals. How about that?
Yes. Zelensky wins Vanquish fans versus favorites 4.
That would be the greatest story to ever be told. Oh, if I'm on that season, by the way, 100%, I'm going all the way with Zelensky. I don't care if I lose by doing it. I'm doing it.
We'd be like the kind of like Survivor Vanquish equivalent of Dr. Will and Boogie, I feel,
Yeah,
if we were both on Vanquish together.
yeah,
Because we're both villains in our own right. I'm more of the just handsome villain that just eats up screen time, and you're
yeah,
the like evil genius.
yeah.
But yeah, a
Okay, okay. So yeah,
little
confessionals
weird
here.
tangent, but sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. All good, all good. I love Dr. Will. He's my favorite Big Brother player. Um,
nice.
so yeah, Jelensky got 7 confessionals. So
Is he the lowest or no?
what do you mean lowest?
Oh, do we not go from top to bottom
I
or
usually go whoever got voted out. I
gotcha?
includes their confessionals. Um, okay, so and then top confessionals, we've already said Banu and Tiffany are at 9 confessionals. Um, next up we got Charlie at 8 confessionals.
Yeah,
Um, then Tevin at 7 confessionals. And then it looks like we got a tie here between Maria at 5 confessionals and Kenzie at 5 confessionals. Then we got a bigger tie here between 4 confessionals between Tim, Jess, Q, and looks like that's it there. Oh yeah, Soda had 5 confessionals. She's also tied with Kenzie and Maria. Um,
gotcha.
and then we got 3 confessionals tied. We got Ben with 3 confessionals, Jem with 3 confessionals, Mariah with 3 confessionals, and Venus with 3 confessionals. And then
Okay,
at the lowest confessionals, we got Hunter with 2 confessionals, Liz with 2 confessionals, and Randon with 2 confessionals.
okay. I feel like Tevin gets like 2 extra points just for being the opening monologue.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
It,
Jeff was like, "Oh, hey, you want to do something? You got something good? Go right ahead. We'll make."
yeah. It's actually kind of crazy that there are 3 people who had more confessionals than him because I feel like he had
Was such a big presence.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And also, Hunter only getting 2. I thought he would get probably a bigger edit, but I mean, he seems very introverted, and only really has a good feel with Tevin.
Yeah. I mean, the game's still early. I
Hmm.
mean, there's still that thing with him and Soda
Hmm.
where, they have that teacher thing or that camp counselor stuff. I will say another thing too. It's interesting seeing the two opposites, and Hunter's like, yeah, I didn't like the campfire songs. No, not a fan.
Yeah,
And
it
then like
followed
that's
it
what
out.
everyone is,
Yeah, it
yeah,
followed him out there. That was his phrasing.
it does. But yeah,
I hate it
I,
too. To be honest, I despise camp songs.
I didn't really go camping too much, or at least like a sleepaway camp or something like that.
Mhm.
So I didn't really get to experience that too much. I like the cheesiness of it. I like cheese
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. I am a camp counselor. I do summer stuff for our college. Which is musical theater is a huge part of it. So by nature, there is a lot of singing.
But no fire pits because Los Angeles. But
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, I think that covers everything on this, 2-hour premiere. I believe the next episode is also a 2-hour episode.
Yes, that is
Um,
correct.
so we're gonna be getting another jam-packed episode tomorrow. I mean next week.
Yeah. Real quick, we almost forgot MVP and LVP.
Oh yeah.
Like LVP is blatantly obvious.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Zelensky.
yeah, Zelensky, no question.
Might give it to him next week just cause.
Yeah, he gets
Even though he's already
you know what? LVP, we're retiring it for the season. We are now going to call it the Zelensky Award.
Oh no, no, that's too mean, Joe. Come on.
Sorry, I'm still on my meme side from Vanquish. If you guys haven't seen,
I was scared, guys. I was legit scared. Uh,
yeah, I left the monster out. If Jeff is always going on about a monster. I'm the monster.
he was the monster for a little bit. I've never seen Joe so aggressive in his life.
Yeah, I
Well,
hate
as long as I've,
confrontation.
which is ironic because man, like that was like the most aggressive I've ever seen anyone.
Yeah. Oh
Not
yeah.
like in a non-threatening like way, like obviously you weren't gonna like, catch hands or anything like that. But
Yeah. I was
I
just
think
saying
that
it
was
how it was.
the
That's
most aggressive I've ever seen that wasn't violent. I was like,
yeah.
"Holy shit."
Yeah.
Uh,
I will say Sam had, he was like, no need to say sorry. I actually thought you were playing a really good game. So he was
oh yeah.
like
He said that in his exit interview.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so MVP, I want to give it to Tevin.
Yeah, I was gonna give it to Tevin too,
Yeah.
even though he didn't go to tribal. I mean, I feel like it was just such an easy decision for the other tribe. Whereas, like I don't really think any of them. And also they kind of didn't play it great. They were not on the same page. It seemed like that is not a cohesive group. Whereas Tevin clearly is going to be in the driver's seat of this tribe if they go.
Yeah. Um, I will get some honorable mention. Tiffany is definitely someone where I'm like, 'cause she seems like in probably the best spot on that tribe. One, with the idol. Two, being at least in the circle at least of like a strong three. And then like, if you're in the middle of that strong three and you have an idol, then you're like gold because like, unless they win one in the passage, Banu
Mhm.
and Jess won't be able to get one unless they get it from doing that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, that now officially wraps up, I think, our coverage of this episode. Um, where would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 of Survivor premiere episodes?
I really enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
I think the 10 is too much. Recency bias always plays a factor into it, so I always try
Yeah,
and take that into account. I'm I'm feeling generous. I'll say a 9.
interesting. I was gonna say I think I liked last season's premiere more. Um, I feel like I would probably give this a 7 out of 10 in terms of premieres, which by the way, premieres are like some of the best episodes of Survivor. So I'm
Yeah.
putting that into the scale. That's it's usually so it's still pretty strong of a premiere. But I'm not as interested in like a wide variety. I feel like I got like a little few like I have a few people I'm attached to now, but there's a lot of other people who I'm not as into right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Also,
But yeah.
Zelensky was just so bad. I mean, like there's a fun
But
element, but
that was
also
like the entertainment of it though.
yeah.
I think that's one of the things that elevated it because no one was I don't really think too many people were bummed that he went. Like that's kind of like the thing.
No. No.
It was like he was fun. He was a fun, memorable first boot. Um, he had a lot of great moments. It introduced a lot of cool concepts in Survivor. Um, like with the Sweat and Savvy this time around, even if they were like quote unquote unwinnable, it was just like the way they did that. I like the Beware advantage. There's a lot of people I can get behind here.
Mhm.
But obviously, yeah, I want to see more.
Yeah.
And we will see more. But um, yeah, but I'm excited for this season. I think it's gonna be dope. Um, yeah. That's
Okay.
all I have to say, really.
Okay.
Well, I can
Sounds
still
good.
form words.
Yeah, yeah. Well, words are being formed here. If that ends up not being able to happen, then it's going to be terrible for a podcast. So,
I'm just gonna use Chat GPT to form my words for me one day.
yeah,
Hopefully, I'm not this tired next time we do it.
yeah,
But we'll see.
yeah. I'll
Anyway,
have
guys,
more free time because I'm not going to be doing as much Vanquish stuff.
we'll see about my free time. But hey, it's one of us. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm always excited to get into these. I know we do a lot of brand steals
Hmm.
on this channel, but it's also nice to be like, and I feel like obviously now that we have like more Survivor buddies and stuff like that, I still love talking so in depth with Joe about it
Yeah.
because like most of the people it's either online or like if I go to Bryson Wynn, or there is a few people out here that we've talked about like meeting IRL to watch stuff.
Hmm.
Um that's cool, but like I know like Joe, you have like such a deep understanding of it and everything. And so it's very cool going really talking about because you broaden my horizons when it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could have used some of that
You
no
did,
thought.
dude. You did.
I mean,
Like,
I do feel like now that I got voted out that I was getting ran around in circles sometimes. Like I was
well, I
the
mean, here's the thing you got to realize too, and it's interesting, and I'm not going to say too much because you're on the
yeah,
jury,
yeah.
but you know, every the thing is, it's like not everyone's an NPC. They have their own games and stuff like that. And I mean, that's what led to your elimination. One of the NPCs like, no, Joe.
Hmm.
Y- yeah. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, well, I know that my allies were throwing out my name. That's what has been told to me. So I was like, "Oh,
I
great."
like I said, I can't tell you anything,
Yeah.
and you know that I can cover even in this state. If anything, it's
Yeah.
better because you can't read into too much because
Yeah.
my face is just tired.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, Anyway, guys, let us know what you thought of this premiere. Who are some of your favorites? What are you hoping to see? Yeah. And Jelensky, if you're watching, say hi. Hope we're too harsh.
Yeah. And let us
Hopefully you'll
know if
laugh
you
with
want
us.
us to name an award after you. It'll be a special
If
award.
you want to, I think it's mean as fuck. Joe doesn't care.
I think it's funny.
Anywho,
Okay. Well, we
um,
we will see you all in the next one. So yeah.
all right, peace.